This time it will run through to Washington Arubi. Well, this time a free kick given in favour of Zimbabwe. These teams meeting again. They did play each other recently in the COSAFA Cup tournament for Southern African nations, and to which Kenya were invited as a guest to replace Malawi. Ended up in the same group, and Kenya beat Zimbabwe by 2-0. Very ambitious attempt on goal from that kind of range. Walter Musona with the effort well over the top. See it from behind the goal. He was certainly hoping that it would come back down again, but not quite what he intended. Touched by Zamura, picked up now by Kenya once again. Rino Mota fouled in midfield by Abuya. Andy Rino Mota, the number 10, playing alongside Marshall Munetsi, the skipper, in there. Otieno. Joseph Okumu, the captain, being hassled and harried by Kamabiliat. Teddy Akumu under pressure in the midfield in his return to Omondi in goal. Joseph Okumu again. Well, Kenya trying to play their way out from the back, invite the pressure onto them and possibly open up some spaces. That has to be a deliberate strategy from the Harambee Stars, as a free kick is given Zimbabwe's way for the challenge on Rino Mota, and the yellow card brandished by the Senegalese referee as well. That was the challenge. And Richard Odada, the player who is cautioned. Free kick flighted in. This time no wild attempt on goal from such a long way out. Well, the challenges flying in at the beginning of this second half, but the quality in the final third is lacking at the moment. And that COSAFA Cup game between the teams just over 2 months ago, at the beginning of July, played in South Africa. Kenya won it 2-0 with 2 second-half goals. Reminder as well of the hashtag to follow all the action on social media, AFCONQ 2025. It's about this time in the second half of that COSAFA Cup game that Kenya got the breakthrough. The two teams were eliminated in the group stage, despite both getting 2 wins out of 3. Only the group winners advanced to the semi-finals. Now then, appeals for a penalty. It looked like there might have been a push inside the box. The referee not interested. Akumu. Joseph Akumu forward. Kept in play on the near side here by Rini Onyango. Amos Nondi returning it to his goalkeeper again. Well, there is only a smattering of spectators in the stadium here in Kampala, but we are also experiencing some sound problems, which is why you really can't hear too much of the atmosphere around us. Here come Kenya again. Kept in by Onyango. Back to Amos Nondi, the substitute. Omondi. This is Amos Nondi again. And the challenge coming in from Gerald Takwara. Well, he did well, and he did well to just stop his momentum before sliding into the photographers. Another Kenyan corner. Austin Odiampo to swing it in. Kamabiliat. Zimbabwe looking to break here. Once again, Biliat caught. Well, he's had an excellent career, Kamabiliat. "34 years old, now back playing in his home country. But he's been in South Africa before that for some time. He had a significant spell at Kaizer Chiefs. And previously at Mamelodi Sundowns, South Africa's leading club, one of the top clubs on the African continent. Goalless here between Kenya and Zimbabwe. Rini Onyango. 10 minutes of the second half gone. Onyango again trying to cut the ball back, and it's once more turned behind for a corner. It's Jordan Zamura who got the touch that time. Well, Michael Neys, the new German coach of Zimbabwe, is thinking about a change. For the moment, his team have defending to do once again. Another corner which Eric Omondi will take this time. Plays it short. Held up into the middle. And claimed by Washington Arubi. Zimbabwe once again look to break here. Kamabiliat unable to keep his footing on the playing surface. Amos Nondi returning it to Burn Omondi, the goalkeeper. Touched off by Odiambo. Brilliant running down this left-hand side from Otieno. Well, they are getting a bit of joy on the flanks. Zimbabwe now about to make the substitutions, and recognition that they need to change something up. Tawanda Chirewa, English-based forward, who's not really been able to make any impact on the game today, is one of the players coming off, and Walter Musona as well. We'll see if that leads to a change in shape for Zimbabwe. Making the first substitution before the corner is taken, and the second one as well. Well, they're bringing on Daniel Msendami in place of Musona. Msendami is a winger, and Chirewa making way for number 19 coming on in his place, Tawanda Mazwanise, who plays his club football in Scotland for Motherwell. Confirmation that Musona has gone off as well. In comes the corner, cleared away at the near post. And a painful one for the Zimbabwe goalkeeper, colliding with the frame of his goal. Well, the corner was cleared away by Zimbabwe captain Marshall Munetsi, only as far as Duke Abuya, and then Washington Arubi colliding with his own goal net, I think it might have been, which has done him some damage. I think it is the upright which has led to him hurting, it looks like his right shoulder. Zimbabweans to be sure that they leave here at least with a point today. That would be a decent start for them in this group. Cameroon kick off their campaign tomorrow against Namibia at the Japoba Stadium in Douala, which was one of the main venues for the 2022 AFCON. Cameroon then coming here to face Zimbabwe in this very stadium. That is next Tuesday evening. So Zimbabwe have made that double substitution. And the pink-haired Kamabilia. So one or two moments in this game where he's been able to play a key pass, but in general, I think he's found the physicality of the Kenyan players to be a challenge today. Here comes Zimbabwe. See if the substitutes can make an impact on this game. It looks like going to play on the flanks. Mazwanise on the left and Msendami on the right. Jordan Zamura comes into the penalty box, laid off by Prince Dube, and the shot from Bilia. Well, he caressed it, trying to curl one into the top corner, and it wasn't far over the bar. Well, it's good play from the Warriors. The space to run into for Jordan Zamura. Back it came to Prince Dube, and then Bilia with the effort. More than two-thirds of the way through this game now. An excellent ball out to the left flank. Picked up by Rino Mota. Marshall Munetsi. I mentioned Kenya's start to qualifying for the next World Cup. Zimbabwe, meanwhile, had a famous 1-1 draw with Nigeria in one of their opening games, despite being forced to play that home fixture in Rwanda. But otherwise, haven't found it going too easy. Drew 0-0 with Rwanda just before playing the Nigerians, and then a 2-0 defeat against Lesotho in another home game that was played on neutral territory in Johannesburg before a 3-1 defeat in South Africa against Bafana Bafana. It's left them in a difficult position, I think it's fair to say, in their qualifying group. So the referee reaches for his pocket again. Another heavy collision. Well, Amos Nondi is on the ground, but the Zimbabwean player is apparently in some pain, and it looks like he is going to get the card here. Well, let's see this in slow motion. Nondi sets off on the run. The challenge comes in from Gerald Takwara, who committed himself to it. Well, Nondi's studs do rake down the leg of the Zimbabwe player, but I'm not sure he could have done anything differently there, to be fair. Well, treatment needed for both players. And it looks like the referee is going to present the yellow card to Gerald Takwara. Well, Gerald Takwara, who recently moved to Iraq to play his club football, feeling the pain of that challenge. Underway again. Kenya restarting things, and Takwara waiting for the green light to come back on. For the moment, Kenya have the extra man. Brought down by Omondi, picked up by Biliat. Well, we're coming up to the midway point in the second half and still waiting for a bit of quality in front of goal. It's still 0-0 between Kenya and Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe team who didn't participate in the qualifying campaign for the last AFCON, who scored just 2 goals in 4 matches so far in qualifying for the 2026 World Cup. One of them came in that 1-1 draw with the Nigerian Super Eagles when Walter Musona put them ahead that day, only for Kelechi Iheanacho to equalise for the Nigerians in November last year. Well, meanwhile, Kenya about to make their second substitution of the afternoon. It's going to be in attack. Eric Omondi is the player coming off here. Forward who is based in Romania, and his place being taken by John Avire, a striker who plays his club football in Egypt. Well, let's see if Avire can offer more of a threat in the Zimbabwe penalty box. Billiat for Zimbabwe. Owino. Otieno. Plays it to Odiambo. First chance for Avire to make an impact on the game, and Kenya have themselves another corner kick here. It's going to be Austin Odiambo to deliver it. Headed away again at the near post. Harambee Stars doing the pressing. Odiambo heading towards the byline and just overrunning that ball. Here's Rooney Onyango, the Gor Mahia player. His club have been in Champions League action already at the tail end of last month. Getting the better of opposition from South Sudan to secure their place in the second round and qualifying for the group stage of this season's CAF Champions League. The bad news for Gor Mahia is that their opponents in the second round will be the mighty Al Ahly of Egypt. First leg to come, not this weekend, but the following weekend. And then the return leg in Cairo the weekend after that one. Gor Mahia will be able to host Al Ahly in their own Nyayo National Stadium in Nairobi, which Kenya are not able to use at the moment. Of course, Kenya is getting ready in terms of infrastructure as well as in terms of its national team for not so much the next AFCON, but the one after that, which they will co-host. Ball into the middle, and it's Joseph Okumu who turns it behind for a Zimbabwe corner. Unusually today, the rival captains are teammates at club level. Joseph Okumu joining Marshall Munetsi last year at the French top flight team Reims. Well, it will be Tawanda Mazwanise who will deliver this corner kick for Zimbabwe. Helped on at the near post, and it does count as an attempt on target, but an easy save for Omondi in goal. Now then, Avire the substitute. Those fresh legs of his. Picked up by Nondi. Runamota. Takwara Gives it back to his goalkeeper. Here's Kamabilia. Clever ball down the line from him, and Zamora tried to skip away from Akumu. Jordan Zamora, formerly of Bournemouth in England, before making a move to Italy to play for Udinese. Majority of this Zimbabwe team are either playing their club football in the UK or around Africa, but there are others sprinkled about the place, including, of course, Joseph Okumu at Reims in France. In the Kenya team, Marshall Munetsi in the Zimbabwe team, a teammate of his. Kenya coming forward again, the ball across the penalty box, and it will run behind for the throw-in. There's been plenty of good intentions today from these two sets of players. Eric Otieno plays his club football in Poland, attacking again down that left-hand side, but the final ball has been missing all too often. Touched on by Odada. Odiambo, is he onside? The referee is having a look across to the assistant. He is onside. Okumu. Amos Nondi. Owino. Engin Firat, the Kenya coach, will be watching this and wondering how his team can break down the Zimbabwe defence. I think he just needs a bit more quality in the final third, and the chances will come for them. Flighted forward, looking for the substitute, John Avire. Samura trying to hold off Richard Odada. Kenyan number 12 needs to be a little bit careful, having been booked earlier on. Andy Rinamoto again. 15 minutes of the 90 remaining. Well, Rinamoto trying to hold off Eric Otieno, but he's sent to the ground and not able to win a penalty for that, that's for sure. And he is left there as Kenya break forward at the other end. Are we going to see a goal this afternoon in Kampala? Kamabilia for Zimbabwe. Driving forward ahead of him is Marshall Munetsi, the captain. Can the skipper make the difference? Well, it was a very ambitious attempt from Munetsi. He's got that in his locker, the ability to add goals from midfield, but from that kind of angle, asking an awful lot to beat the Kenyan goalkeeper. Haven't seen enough of that from Marshall Munetsi today. He's been perhaps a little bit inhibited. I'm sure that was part of the strategy by the Zimbabwe coach Mikael Nace to ensure that Munetsi just sits really alongside Rinamoto in the midfield. Munetsi again plays the pass to his left. Now then, this time there's space for Mazwanise to run into. Mazwanise from the angle, looking to pick out a green shirt in the middle. It is going to be a corner, but that's a bit better from Zimbabwe. They're seeing spaces here as Kenya themselves try to commit men forward, looking for the opening goal. And maybe the breakthrough will come from one of these teams in a more open finish to this game. Well, Murawira is the player who will deliver the corner here for Zimbabwe. A goal now could be enough to take the 3 points. It's always felt like a game that would be a tight contest. God knows Murawira. With the in-swinging delivery, it nearly came to Kamabilia. Well, I think Kamabilia is perhaps annoyed with himself that he didn't make contact with that ball. In comes the cross, looking for Billiat once again. Might just fall this time. Well, it was Mazwanise with the shot, which was blocked crucially by the Kenyan defence. They've done that a couple of times today. Some brilliant last-ditch defending. I think it's Joseph Okumu who perhaps been winded by that block. Look at this first clearance. And then he gets up quickly and receives that shot from Mazwanise right in the chest. That is outstanding defending from the Kenyan captain to deny Zimbabwe the opening goal here with 10 minutes remaining. Joseph Okumu, who's been playing regularly in Ligue 1 in France for a good club in Reims, well run, and, competing high up the table there for the last couple of years. A real defensive stalwart for the Harambee Stars, just lacking a bit of quality at the other end today. Time then for another change to be made here. And it's a Zimbabwe substitution. Prince Dube, who's just joined the Tanzanian Giants, Young Africans, is the player coming off. And a straight swap up front for the visitors. Plenty of fresh legs on in attack now, but they've got more defending to do here. Odiambo looking for the run of Odada, finally breaking free and into the opposition penalty box. Richard Odada, a bit like Marshall Munetsi at the other end. Prince Dube off, and Douglas Mafumo of the South African side, Polokwane City, is the player who comes on. Kenya again, maybe this time. Otieno denied by a brilliant piece of goalkeeping from Washington Arubi. Well, this match is finally opening up, and Eric Otieno, who has not stopped running up and down that left-hand side all afternoon, getting on the end of the pass inside the box, and all credit to Zimbabwe's experienced goalkeeper Washington Arubi for racing out, narrowing the angle, and making a save. Well, you've got to be brave, and Washington Arubi certainly was there, and he's proving that he's still got what it takes at this level, despite having recently celebrated his 39th birthday. Of course, for a goalkeeper, usually they can go on that bit longer. Kenya now looking to make more changes. Akumu looking to go wide for Odhiambo again. Eric Otieno making the run forward. Richard Odada, he fancied the shot, and that is a wayward effort from the midfielder, who is getting some much needed minutes under his belt today, because since his move to Dundee United in the Scottish Premiership, he's played very little at the beginning of the season, not yet deemed by his manager there to be fully up to speed. A sprinkling of supporters in the stands here in Kampala today. Time then for those changes. Well, Jukabuya, another young Africans player out on the field today, is making way, and so is Eric Otieno, who's put in a tremendous shift on the left-hand side. Olwin Terra will replace Abuya in the midfield, and Abu Domar is a left-back by trade. He will pick up the position vacated by Otieno on that left-hand side. Well, despite all the changes, despite chances at either end in the last few minutes, it is still 0-0 here between Kenya and Zimbabwe today. Odada losing out. Maybe an opportunity here for Zimbabwe. Held up by Mafumo. Falls for Munetsi. Still alive. Rina Mota. Out to Jordan Zamura. Mafumo again trying to play it across the face of goal. It's going to be another Zimbabwe corner. Oh, Kamabiliat was the target of that pass from Douglas Mafumo. In fact, it is not a corner, and it is going to be Bruno Mondi to launch it downfield with just a few minutes remaining. We should have a good few minutes of stoppage time as well, of course. Confirmation of that substitution. Eric Otieno replaced by Abu Domar at left back, and Jukabuya making way in the midfield for Olwin Terra, who is based in Armenia at club level. Runi Onyango. Challenged by Richard Odada, was penalised by the Senegalese referee. Odada does need to be careful, having been booked earlier on. Now then, this might be the chance for Zimbabwe to finally get the breakthrough. Well, that shot was deflected, it nearly completely wrong-footed. Bionamonti, the Kenyan goalkeeper, and again, Zimbabwe looking dangerous when they get the chance to approach the opposition penalty box. Nolan Sindami, one of the substitutes brought on in the second half by Michael Nace, the Zimbabwe coach, trying to get the shot away. Here they come again. Mafumo looking to release Biliat. As we move now into the 90th minute of this game here in Kampala today. Mandela National Stadium hosting this game with Kenya as the home side this afternoon. And it will be Zimbabwe, the home side, in a few days' time when they face Cameroon in this stadium. These teams will meet again in November, towards the end of the qualifying campaign, and it looks like it will probably shape up to be an interesting contest for qualification here. Cameroon, of course, one of the great names in African international football, multiple former winners of the AFCON, but they have been in a bit of a state of disarray on and off the pitch in Cameroon in recent times. Didn't really make a massive impact at the AFCON earlier this year in Ivory Coast. Namibia, meanwhile, did very well at the AFCON, making it beyond the group. Well, these two teams will be competitive, will look to make it back to the AFCON tournament. Kenya have certainly been there before, albeit just once in the last 2 decades. That was in 2019 in Egypt when they did beat Tanzania, but were eliminated from what was an extremely difficult group behind Algeria and Senegal, the two teams who went on to contest the final. We are into 4 minutes of added time at the end of this game today. Michael Nace, newly appointed coach of Zimbabwe, and aiming to lead them back to the AFCON. They were not able to take part in the last competition. Before that, they'd been to 3 in a row in 2017, 2019, and in Cameroon in 2022, albeit they failed to make it out of their group at any of those. Here's Biliat, just unable to bring that ball under control. Owino. Well, Zimbabwe finishing this game stronger. Rino Mota with the interception. Ball out to the near side for Mazwanise. Looks for the overlapping run from Jordan Zamura. It's not held by the goalkeeper in the middle. And Akumu eventually clears it. It will be a corner, but shaky defending from the Kenyans. And still the possibility of a dramatic conclusion to this game. Zimbabwe looking for a stoppage time winner. Really important touch away from Akumu. Is this the chance that the Warriors were looking for? God knows Murwira trotting across to deliver this dead ball. Well, it might be now or never for one of these two teams to escape with the victory today from Kampala. The Zimbabweans will be staying here for the next game in a few days' time. What a huge boost it will be for them to snatch the victory at the end, but the corner from Murwira is horribly overhit, and ultimately that has been the issue today, just not enough quality in the final third. Abu Domar with the ball forward. Kenya again looking for the free kick, and again the referee playing on as the ball is lifted over the top, looking for the run of Sendami, and that will probably be that. Well, these two teams, credit to them, they've both tried to find a way to win this game. Just hasn't been the necessary quality in the opposition penalty box from either team. May still be time for one last chance for Kenya. Onyango trying to get away from Zamora. He's conceded the free kick, and Mikhail Nays, the Zimbabwe coach, well, he looks frustrated. But on the whole, I think he can be quite encouraged by a lot of what he's seen from his team today. Given where the Zimbabwe national team have come from, Mikhail Nays has been in charge of Seychelles and Rwanda in the past, now looking to really help develop this Zimbabwean team. And they're off to a relatively encouraging start in their quest to make it to next year's African Cup of Nations. Draw here today in Kampala with Kenya. The Harambee Stars, deprived of home advantage today, forced to play this game in the Ugandan capital, and really, on balance, Zimbabwe were the more likely winners. They had a couple of decent chances in the first half, and a couple of decent chances in the second half too.
Na matokeo ndio hayo, 0-0 baada ya dakika 90 za mchuano wa kwanza wa Kenya kundi J kufuzu kwa kombe la mabingwa barani Afrika, ikiwa ni vile tulivyotarajia. Hakuna yoyote kumfunga mwingine.
Si vile tulikuwa tunatarajia pale mwanzo, maana ukiangalia mchuano au mechi ambapo mechi kichezo ndio upate ile chance ya kufunga bao, lazima ukuwe na at least shot on target. Lakini ukiangalia kipindi cha pili na pamoja na kipindi cha kwanza tumekuwa na